See, it says live.
Okay.
It means we're live. What's up, Facebook world? Got my beautiful wife, Katie Sue. And let some people hop on here. I know if you're watching the replay, it's okay. Just fast forward a little bit. You'll be all right. But
It's so blurry.
it's not blurry.
It's hurting my eyeballs.
What's up, Rochelle One Acre? How you doing? Freedom House is in the house. What's up? We wanted to. Am I holding it wrong? Oh, wait, hold on. There we go.
They didn't get the stuff off the stairs. They're trying to make it look like it's not dirty in the back, but
Yeah, I got that squeegee shirt on, but
it's dirty back there.
you know, we wanted to. We were talking. Hey, chill. We were. You got to. Hey, when you're on a live with a girl, you got to get like a certain 43 degree angle to the right. You know, otherwise. Anyway, so we were. You know, we've been talking a lot. Kind of like where we were, where we started, the journey, where we are now. And, you know, this is going to be a lot on the faith side. So I know a lot of my followers don't necessarily share the same faith as me, and that's cool. Hey, I still want you to watch this because I think it could help you in your journey. So, you know, we've been really just kind of amazed over these last, probably since January. We had a pretty significant thing happen to us December, January that's lasted for a while, that really rocked our world, to the fact that it was brutal, right? But to see from the beginning to where we are now, everything that happened in the middle.
Jenny Sue!
Yeah, Jenny Sue. Charles, what's up, man? It's been a miracle, right? Would you say, like,
Yeah.
It's been a complete miracle to see the journey and to keep watching it unfold. And we wanted to share this with you guys because, man, we think it's pretty powerful. I don't know, you know, if you're familiar with the Bible. If you're not familiar with the Bible, there's a really good story in the beginning of it about a guy named Joseph. And it's like, you know, I put it in a nutshell. God gave Joseph a dream, a vision of what he was going to be. And it's really easy to get vision. It's really easy to get, you know, this is where I want to be. But the middle part, right? Like you have a start, like I have to start somewhere, and then you have an end, and you have a vision of what that end's going to be. But you have no clue what that middle looks like, right? And for Joseph, you know, he got sold into slavery. He ended up being a prisoner, and then he became ruler of the land. And he had to go in that order to get to where he was promised, right? And I feel like we've almost been on the same kind of a journey because, and it starts way before we even got married. The whole reason I moved to Houston, that's a story in of itself. But just to kind of save time, we'll skip that part of it, but kind of start how Love My Clean Windows even started, or Love My Windows at the time, how that even started, how we started, and all the struggles we've had, all the failures we've had, and it's only been because of obedience and faith that we are where we are today. And because of those failures and those struggles, like our faith is probably bigger than it's ever. Like I would say for me, and I know for her too, like it would take me more faith today to be an atheist than it would to believe in God. And that's because we've seen some stuff. Like faith is the what is it? Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not yet seen. Right? And as you start to see things. As you start to see the evidence of things, your faith kind of grows. And that's kind of where we've been in this whole journey since from start to where we are today. And it's been a brutal journey. Like, it's been a huge struggle. But because of that obedience and because of that faith, like we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Like we know the struggle's not done. We have a huge calling that we barely are stepping into, and we're going to see so much more opposition and obstacles stand in our way. And because of the faith we've had, because of what we've been through, the struggles that have grown that faith, we're like, come on, bring it on, right? So if some of y'all, if you don't know the story, I'll just share the story with you real quick. What's up, Mauricio? Sarah, how you doing?
Or Diana.
I didn't see that, but I was a welder, right? So before all that, you guys probably know a little bit of the story. Got in a little bit of trouble.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of trouble. And really just a God thing. Accidentally met Katie Sue. Ended up moving to Houston, but before I met Katie Sue, when I got in my trouble, I always said, you know what, I'm not going to be an entrepreneur anymore. Entrepreneurs always gotten me in trouble, either because it was illegal, or if it was legal, it was just, I didn't know what I was doing. Jeez. So I promised myself, matter of fact, when we did premarital counseling, one of the things I said was, I'm never going to be an entrepreneur. I'm always going to be a welder. You can make 6 figures a year welding, especially in Houston, Texas. I'm always going to be a welder. I'm never going to start my own business. I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to be comfortable. Was that true? Mm-hmm. Right? One of the things I said, I'm never going to take a step like that again or put my family at risk. And it was like 4 months into our marriage, we're sitting at our church, at our home church at the time, and it was just like this, I couldn't shake it, right? I was just like, you're going to start a business, and this business is going to fund your ministry. And I'm like, no, dude, there's no way I'm starting a business. I have a family. My wife's pregnant. There's no way. This is crazy. There's no way, right? I just couldn't shake this feeling I had inside me. So I go to talk to my wife, and I'm like, she's going to be mad. She's going to be upset. I'm going to like...
Well, but this was over a period of...
over a period of time, yeah. And so I did. I went and talked to her, and I'm like, hey, when did you meet my Katie Sue? I met her when I was 13 years old. That's a whole nother cool story, but that's for another time. Where was I?
You came and told me.
Yeah, so I go and tell her, hey, listen, I feel like I'm supposed to start this business, and it's going to fund our ministry. And at that time, we didn't know what that business was even going to be. Is it going to be welding? Is it going to, we had no clue what it was going to be. I just knew I was supposed to start a business because I was working 60 to 80 hours a week. And it was just like, 6 months in a row, just straight up every single day, work. And I was like, man, I either have time, no money, no time, but I never have both at the same time. So I went to her and I told her, and she basically pretty much just said, like, hey, I'm on board. If this is what you feel like you're called to do, I support you 100%. I'm on board. Let's do it. And I was like, whoa, that was too easy, right?
And then you still didn't do it.
I still didn't do it. Yeah, I still didn't do it, right? So during all this, I started doing things like, hey, first of all, I had insurance. I was getting the 401k. I was doing I worked at a really good company to where I knew I had a future. I had a career, right? Like there was no way I'm about to quit my good job to start a business with my wife pregnant. I have a kid coming on the way that's going to pay for that pregnancy, and I'm about to quit. It was just I can't do that. So I started saying things like, hey, God, if this is real, get me fired. Like they were laying off people, right? So the oil crisis was kind of starting to happen. It wasn't in the middle of it quite yet, but it was starting to kind of happen. So a lot of people were getting laid off where I was working at. And I was just like, somewhere like 200 people got laid off.
And he kept testing God. I go, tell my wife.
Yeah, I would be like, get me laid off, and then I'll know that I'm supposed to quit. Or, hey, give her a dream or something, then I know I'm supposed to quit or something, right?
And I didn't hear anything.
And nothing happened.
He got a raise.
Yeah, I even got a raise. When people were getting laid off, I even got a raise, and I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. And someone told me, I don't remember exactly who it was that told, it may have been her. Actually, I think it was her. She said, hey, you're going to have to make the first move. In order for God to move, you have to move. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, you're crazy. There's no me moving God's got to move on this one because I got a family that I have to protect. And she's like, no, in order for God to move, you have to move.
Well,
Where's
because I
your
had
faith?
been praying at that time too, and so I remember where I was at the church, which row, which seat, 6 months pregnant, and we had been praying and praying for months, and we knew what we needed to do. It was just,
Yeah.
we were scared to take that step, or he was. I was just so, and then I just kept hearing, yeah, it was you. God just kept saying prosperity, and faith. You have to have faith.
Yeah, so we start the business, right? I'll kind of fast forward this. I'll hurry this up a little bit. So we stepped out on faith. We actually, I went to a local window cleaning company, and I just said, hey, let me work for you for a little bit just to see if this is something I want to do or not. And I said, I'll give you 1 year. At that time, he was like, it's hard to find good help. It's hard to find good workers. I need all the workers I can get. I'll take you for the year, right? So we started working for another company, and it's like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do. 1 year into it, went back to him and was like, hey, we're going to start our own business. And I had this thought that because of my faith and because of what I'm doing, I'm quitting a good job and I'm moving out. I'm going to do all this stuff. I had this thought that I'm going to be an overnight success. I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, I'm doing this all for ministry. I'm doing this all for God. I'm going to be a millionaire overnight. And what happened is if you heard my story, then you know this in the business world. But month number 1, we did $0 in sales. Zero. I'm freaking out because I realistically thought, I went into this thing thinking like, I can at least do $1,000 a week. That'd be easy. It's $4,000 in the month of January. I know we should be able to do that. $0 in the month of January. February comes around. Now I'm like, I'm having to make up that $4,000. So now I'm like, I got to like do $8,000 this month, at least 6 to make up for the last month. Mind you, we're living in my mother-in-law's house.
Not yet.
Okay, yeah.
No,
okay.
we're still at the other house.
So maybe I got my story a little bit timeline. Okay. So month number 1, or $0. Month number 2, $636 in revenue. $636 in revenue. Like, that's not enough to even like do nothing, right? Nothing. And I'm freaking out, and I start to go to her. I'm like, I quit. This is stupid. This is insane.
He quit 7 days a week.
I quit a
days.
6-figure a year job to make $600 in a month. This is stupid. I can't believe. And then I started getting mad at God. Like, I can't believe, you're not, real. I didn't hear from you, all this other stuff. And I'm just like, and I remember one day I go to her and I'm like almost in tears. Like, I call her. I'm on the phone call. I show up at a job, and this was happening over and over, and the customer cancels at the front door. And I almost lost it. Like, I cannot believe it. It was a $238 exterior only job, and I start freaking out. Like, this is the 3rd time this week somebody's canceled. You don't understand. Like, I can't pay the bills. I'm spending every dollar I made, and and she tells me, she's like, put your big boy panties on. And then she says something like, you can either walk on water, you can either get back in the boat or walk on water. What are you going to do? And I'm just sitting there like, now, most wives would have been like, entrepreneur, unemployed, get back to work, dude. But she's like, we have a calling, we have a purpose, and we're going to stick with it. And throughout our entrepreneur journey, that's month after month. Like, we would have a good month where we did $8,000, and then the next month we do $2,000, then the next month we do $6,000, and then the next month we do $4,000.
We just looked this up the other day, and we didn't know this till a year later. We were doing our taxes a year later. Okay, this is in the beginning. We just looked up the other day. The national poverty level for a family of 4 is $22,000 a year. If you make $22,000 a year, you're in poverty level. We realized after doing our taxes, our first year of business, we had made $24,000 that year.
Yeah.
We have no idea how we even pay bills.
And that's and this is where faith and obedience comes in play, because here's the deal. We made actually around $26,000, right? Check this out, $26,000. A lady comes up to me from our church and says, hey, I don't know why, but I'm supposed to give you $100. Gives me $100. She didn't know this, but we didn't have groceries even at the time. Person, story after story. Hey,
Christmas time.
Here's $600. Here's $400.
Here's $300.
They didn't know this electric bill that needed to be paid. I'm a person of pride, so I never took it, right? Like, I'm like, no, I can't take that. I can't take that. People would go out of their way to make sure that money got to us some way or another. And I'm just like, story, at that particular time, I didn't see it, right? Looking back, retrospect, story after story, we never missed, okay, I'll say this. We missed some car payments. We've never missed, like, rent. We never missed, like,
our lights were on.
Our lights stayed on. Like, it was one of them things. It was close. It was close calls. But man, story after story, and every time where I wanted to quit, and she's like, "No, man, God called us to this. We gotta. There's a reason. There's a purpose. There's a calling behind it. We're sticking to it." And really, she's the only reason I never quit. And I'm like, because there's some time, I'm not going to lie, I questioned the calling. I questioned everything about it. Like, dude, this is stupid. I'm a man. My job as a man is to hunt, kill, and bring some stuff home and put it on the table. And if I don't do that, I'm not doing my job as a husband, as a father. But yet, there's a thing see, James says this. James says, consider it pure joy. And whether you're a believer or not, I think that you can really learn something from this. So, James says this, consider it pure joy for the various trials you go through, because this is what builds your character, and this is what builds your faith. And as looking back, right, and I'll share another story with you guys because of all this. This is a story just going to be long, so you may want to take a break, come back to it later. That's cool.
Get some popcorn.
Get some popcorn, I started to really realize, like, I see that. I'm considering it pure joy now, every struggle we go through, because let me tell you something, we can lose it all today, and I think our faith has grown to a point to where it's like, you know what? Hey, matter of fact, we've already lost it all today, right? We've lost it. And I'll share that story here with you in a second. We've literally lost everything just to get it back, right? And so here's a story for you guys. And so we started building traction, right? As we started to build momentum, which Joshua Latimer was a huge help with that. He's having a webinar, shameless plug. He's having a webinar tonight. Go watch it. It's going to be awesome. He really helped me change my business around, him with a couple other mentors, to where we started to kind of build momentum, right? Like, we started getting from, $4,000 a month to $8,000 a month to $16,000 a month.
There was a little bit of money at the end of the month.
There was money at the end of the month to where we're like, all right, we can see this being a business now. So we caught the attention of one of my customers. We started doing roof washing. We caught the attention of one of my customers. And my customer, we charged, like, this wasn't even, like, it was a big house. It was like 6,000 square foot home. One of our first roof washes, but I never let him know that. I was like, oh yeah, we're experts. I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to do it. And it was a 6,000 square foot home, and I think we charged him like right at $2,000 to roof wash his house. It took us like 6 hours to roof wash his home, right? He gets home that day. He looks at, go ahead.
It keeps trying to focus on your hand.
He gets home that day, and he calls me up that night, and he's like, dude, and I'm scared, nervous, like, what did we kill? What did we screw up? And he's like, I got a brand new roof on my house, and it took you 6 hours. He's like, I'm doing the math in my head, and he's like, I'm like, okay, what are you getting to, dude? Like, what's the point? He's like, I don't know if you know what I do or not for a living, but I'm an investor. I invest money into people's businesses, take a small percentage, and turn them into millionaires, right? And that was pretty much what he said. He's like, and I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, I'd love to take you and your wife out to eat, right? So he takes us out to eat, and like, dude, he's like, man, I'm impressed with your business. I'm impressed with your systems, your process, your marketing, your branding. Like, dude, you have, like, for a window cleaning company, you have like a real company, and I'm interested. And I'm like, whoa, man. He's like, I want to give you money, right? And I'm like, dude, so this was like that happened in August of 2015, I believe, 2015? 15. So that happened in August 2015, right? So as the months go by and as the months move on, we're starting to get a little bit more serious about doing a deal with this guy. He's wanting to give us a significant amount of money for a little bit percentage because he's for sure this roof washing thing's going to blow up. And it's like, this is where I don't care about window cleaning, power washing. This roof washing thing's where the money's at. I mean, this is like a $600 an hour business and I want a piece of it. And he's doing all the demographics and like, there's not very many companies in Houston. Like, and I'm like sitting back like, whatever, bro, give us the money. Let's go. Let's turn us into millionaires.
Like, we met with lawyers,
yeah,
signed
so
papers.
we invested a lot of our own money because in order to do this investment deal, we needed the infrastructure, right? So he's like, I'm going to give you all this money and your phone's going to be ringing off the hook. You're going to need to be able to hire staff to make sure the jobs are going to get done. You're going to need to hire, an office staff, a sales. So, I mean, dude, we went out and hired an office manager and employees. We went out and hired all these people, right? February 1st, the deal was supposed to go through. The investment was supposed to go through
December.
It's supposed to go through December, and they moved it back.
January.
Yeah, they kept moving it back. So February 1st was the final, like, hey, this is where we're doing. 2016. January 28th, I get an email, and this is real. And if you live in Houston, you'll know what I'm talking about. Oil went from like $70 a barrel to like $30 a barrel, $28 a barrel overnight. Boom, just like that. I get an email, no phone call. Just an email saying, hey, we're going to have to pull out on this deal. Right now is not a good time for us to invest. Oil just plummeted and all of our money is going to be tied up. We just lost a lot of money. We're not investing in anything until we see an increase back in oil, which could be forever. And we're like, our heart just, it sunk. Like,
we spent everything we had.
I just spent like 10 grand of my own money.
We have 5 people
lawyer
on payroll.
fees. I got all these people on my payroll, and I kept them around because my heart was so big. I'm like, I don't have any way to pay them. I don't have any way to keep them. I have no work for all these employees. But it forced us, right? Again, faith. And there was a lot of lessons learned into that. And I'm not here to teach you the lessons that were learned into that. But again, obedience, right? I went to my wife, and here's what happened. I won't say I lost my faith. I got mad at God. Like, I was mad, right? Like, I can't believe this. Dude, everything I do out of faith. I do for you. And here I am getting screwed again. And I went to Katie and I was like, that's it, dude. Me and Daddy God aren't talking right now. I didn't lose my faith. I'm just mad. Like,
I'm not going to church.
I'm not going to church.
I'm not reading my Bible.
I'm done. Like, we're in an argument right now, right? and this is wrong. I can't believe he did this, And man, it was a lot of mending and a lot of like me coming back, reflecting, and I'm not gonna get.
A lot of what happened too, though, is he did a lot of research on people in the Bible that were mad at God.
Yes.
He did a lot of stuff, and he started watching these videos and these preachers, and then which also started.
So there was a lot of testing, and here was a lot of things that I put my faith into a man, is what I did, into an investor. Thank God we didn't take that deal, by the way. Like, I was this close to taking that, and somebody could have been owning my company right now. And thank God that he closed that door. But at the time I was mad. I was out 10 grand of my own money. And not only that, I'm having to pay payroll to people that shouldn't be there, but I didn't have the heart. Oh, sorry, office manager, we don't need you anymore. Sorry, 3 other employees, we don't need you anymore. You guys got to go. And I'm like, that's part of business. I get it. But I just didn't have the heart. You got to understand, we just had like this whole rallying team meeting. Like, everybody sold the vision to everybody. Like, woo, yeah, we're going to all make it. And everybody's rowing the boat in the same direction to me. And it was just like the next week, like, oh, no, sorry, that's not happening, by the way.
And we're like, my propane tank is about empty.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna take a cold shower.
So, struggle after struggle after struggle, but we stayed obedient and we stayed faithful, right? And there was some times where I got mad, and this is what she was talking about. David, God, why have you forsaken me, right? Jesus himself, God, why have you forsaken me? Why? You know what I mean? So here's the thing. It's like, I felt a lot of shame for it for a little bit, and it's like that's part of being human, right? The Bible even says you can be angry, just don't sin in your anger. So There was a lot of stuff that I learned in that whole ordeal that I'm thankful for that, right? It's hard. Some of you that are going through some stuff right now, it's hard, right? In the middle of it, you don't know what's going on. You can't see the end of it. But as we are at the end of it, I look back and I look at all the failures and all the struggles, and I thank God for them, man, because it's what's grown our faith. Share one more.
That was 2016.
That was 2016. This one I'm not going to get too much in detail because it's not all finished quite yet, and I want to protect the innocent. Me. But we trusted the wrong people with our finances. We trusted the wrong people with our taxes. And I got in a little bit of tax trouble. And to the point to where totally caught me off guard. I had no clue it was coming. One, I couldn't even plan for it because I thought everything was legit. Everything was, I got a CPA. I got, he's good. And man, one day, and I'm not going to get too much in detail, but let's just say let me share this with you. I've lost, somewhere in the tune of almost $30,000. And at one point, and these have been in increments that have been huge, like wipe you out, right? And, the last time it happened, about 12 grand just gone. 12 grand and I had no clue it was about to happen. Couldn't prepare for it, couldn't plan for it. So somewhere around $30,000 in the last 18 months, gone, right? And here's the deal. Because of our faith, man, because of this growing faith that we've had this last time, you know what we did? We just said, just another testimony about to happen. Just another story about to happen. And you know what we did, man? We put our nose to the ground and we went to work and we grinded and we grinded and we grinded. And some of you y'all never even know the grind that was put into it in December, in January, in February, in March. Some of y'all will never know the level of struggle, but grind that we went through. And then prayer and fasting, just like, God, we know you got this. And I can honestly say, I don't think we missed a beat.
No.
I don't think we missed a beat these last 6 months, 7 months.
Faith in man and just said, God, we're going to go wherever
it's you,
your
man.
wind takes
It's you,
us.
dude. It's you.
You got this.
And what I did this year, I said, you know what? Because I heard somebody talk about this. He said, I'm tired of praying for people for their problems and God, pay my bills. God's not in the business of paying people's bills. God makes trees, not furniture. And it really stuck to me. It's like God uses your talents and your abilities, and he turns that into resources.
That's why he gave them to you.
That's why he gave them to you, right? So,
That's your
this
purpose.
whole idea that if I just pray and if I just, have a positive mindset, my bills will get paid. Like, nah, dog, you still got to work. You still got to move. And, we didn't miss a beat these last 6 months. Matter of fact, I think we've made more money in the last 6 months than we probably ever have. Our business today is more successful today than it ever has, and I didn't even show up to work this week. And that's a testament in of itself. Like our team, like God has surrounded us with people. Hope and Rodney, our team, like, oh my gosh, you talk about a powerhouse team.
We've been praying for them for years.
Pastor Welby, our pastor, Kristen, our friends at our church, like, oh my gosh, we just went to lunch with one today, and I'm just sitting there just like, these last 6 months, we lost so much, man. Like,
Even our kids.
We've lost so much.
So much.
But yet, man, we have gained so much. And it's been a story. It's been like, when we were just talking about it, like, man, we've been through hell in our marriage. But it's filled with so many, like, good stories. And she's like, whatever. Like, for me, though, you have to understand, I'm a man. Like, I'm the husband. I'm the father. I'm the protector. I'm the provider. And when I feel like I can't provide, that messes with my head, And this last time it all happened, it was just like
We're gonna make it.
Hey, we're gonna make it.
Our success rate at this point is 100%.
It's 100%.
We're getting through hard times.
We're going to get through the hard times. God's going to provide. If we stay obedient and faithful, He will provide. He will come through. Now, I say all that because of this. The struggles and the troubles, James said it perfectly. Consider it pure joy. And I think that's what we did last time, right? Like, we almost like, hey, here comes another one. It's all right, though. Watch this testimony unfold, right? And I remember telling my pastor in the middle of it, because I didn't tell a whole lot of people about this. I only told a handful of people, not even a handful, probably 3. And I told my pastor about it, like, dude, I'm going through something like, it's devastating right now. And I was just like, but man, I got a peace. I got this peace that I've never had about it. Usually I'd be freaking out. I'd be on trying to beat somebody up that because it's their fault, and like, I can't believe, I'll be on the phone, I can't believe you. And here's the deal, I forgave that person, right? I've forgiven them. It's hard, it's tough, I have. But it's taught me another lesson. Be careful who you trust with your money, man. Be careful who. We've been married for 6 years. But, we've learned a lot of lessons through every single struggle, every trial, everything. And it's grown our faith so much. It's grown our character. It's let us know who we are. Like, I today can honestly say, man, Chris, you are a better person than you were 10 years ago.
Now, let me say something too, though. If we hadn't gone through all that stuff and we were put into the positions that we are now with our church or with our business or with our family, we wouldn't have been ready. We wouldn't have been ready for it.
We'd have lost it all. And I'm convinced of that. And that goes back to having hinds feet for high places.
That's right.
That's a whole other thing right there. But, we really wanted to jump on here. I know we've been on here for a while. What's up, Mr. Jeff? Love you guys, man. Thanks for watching, dude. But we wanted to share it with you guys, man, because it's not all success, dude. It's not, man. It's been hell. It's been fights. It's been, it's built our marriage a whole lot stronger because I know I have somebody that will back me up like 100% no matter what. Like, she doesn't need to get her toes done. Like, I'm on board with the purpose and the mission
right.
and the calling and the cause and whatever. I'll sacrifice for that, right? Where
we need a little monitoring on Amazon.
Yeah, maybe a little monitoring on Amazon, but she never let me quit. And I think about that. Like, I know a lot of girlfriends that would have been like, "You're not a man. You're not a man at all. You can't even provide for your family," but not my wife. She's been like, hey, God's given us a calling. He's given us a purpose. If we stick with that calling, if we stick with that purpose, He's going to bless us. And my old pastor, Pastor Richard, would say, when God gives you vision, He'll give you the provision. And man, I believe that 100%. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
That is just that picture. It's my favorite picture of the 2 men mining,
digging,
for the diamonds. And the one is still going, and he's walking this way, and the other one's walking this way. But the guy that had turned around was like an inch away from breaking through the diamond wall.
He's right there, man.
And I keep telling him, don't give up before the diamond wall. Don't give up.
So I just wanted to share that story with you guys, man, because it is a real story of faith, obedience. Someone commented on one of my last videos that's like, man, how do you believe in a God that you can't see? And it's like, bro, I can't argue with you on science and theology, but I can argue with you my testimony. And I can share with you things that can't be explained. I can share with you my story, things that I've seen, in ways.
Even things that started before.
And now we get to see it again with Hope Rising. We didn't start the church, but we started a church along with our pastors it was just a vision, right? Our pastors had a vision. That was it. Our pastors had a vision, had no clue what to expect. And, Rochelle, y'all had a vision. You had no clue what to expect. You're just being obedient and faithful, right? And God rewards that obedience and He rewards that faithfulness. And is it going to be easy? No, I'm not going to be one of these people that are going to be like, hey, you just trust God. Everything's going to be easy. Rawr! Like, bull corn, dude. Like, matter of fact, you start trusting God, I'm going to tell you it's going to get harder.
He's going to test you.
I'm going to tell you it's going to get harder, right?
And let me tell you, mamas, one of the hard parts is too when he starts testing your kids and their lives, and that's been on my hard part this
yes,
past
yeah, that's been a
year.
whole nother one too.
But when you see your baby standing at the front row, when you didn't tell them to go to the front row, they walk in and go to the front row and raise their hands and worship.
Says
It's okay.
So John Maxwell says this: we all have uphill hopes, but we have downhill habits, you know. And because of these last few years, we have uphill hopes, and we're starting to get uphill habits. We still have a lot of bad habits. Tacos is a good portion of it, but want to share this with you guys, man. That it's going to be hard. That faith and obedience isn't easy, and whoever tells you that's lying. I'm not going to be the one to tell you that. Faith and obedience is hard, but consider it pure joy when you do go through those various trials, because that's what's going to build your character. It's what's going to build your faith. And today I told Katie today we could lose it all today, and you know what? It's fine.
Store up your treasures in heaven.
It's fine.
You can't take this stuff with you.
It's fine. You know, like, we're going to get it all back, and we haven't been let down yet. So, and wanted to share that with you guys because it's been a brutal story. I think it's worth sharing. I hope to share the latest one in detail with you guys soon. But
let's get on the other side.
Let's get on the other side of it, man, because that's brutal, dude. Like, that's, you know, that sucks, especially when you do things that you feel are right, and yet other people kind of do you wrong. You have two choices.
With putting your trust in
it's just like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna make this a learning lesson, and we're gonna be careful. So we're done. You got anything you want to add?
No. Bye.
Sorry it took so long, guys, but felt like we could share it with you.
Adios.